Hey everyone, this is Wakeangel2K1's, and I'm going to give it a few more days at least before we decide what the top 10 customs of 2016 are, but let's go through the honorable mentions. You see, when I first put up all 62 of my figures in the poll, after about a week or so, the voting kind of leveled out and stopped. So what I did was I took everybody that had at least 2 votes and put them in the second poll, which is now open. As of right now, I can get a definitive top 4, but there's still too many ties to decide the full top 10. So while we're waiting for more votes to come in, oh, by the way, go down there and vote if you haven't yet, because there's only been 74 votes so far, and I know there's 6,600 of you on YouTube alone, and close to 9,000 if we count all my art galleries as well. Of course, there's probably some overlap, so it's somewhere between 6,600 and 9,000, but, let's not get too pedantic. Anyway, like I said, this was everyone in the poll that managed to get at least 1 vote before I close that one off. So, let's get into it. So, in no particular order, here is the first one, Flare, which is a commission for Riku Studios. It was his fan character. And as I do recall, this is the only fan character that actually made the honorable mentions, so there's that. Not a bad design. I can see why people would like it. Next was Chip. This was the little Chip that I made as the last part of Davin's commission. It's supposed to be more or less in scale with the 3-inch Sonic line, and even comes with a little flight stand. I did make another Chip that was quite a bit bigger and scaled better with the 5-inch Werehog, but that one did not get any votes in the poll. Now we have Nicole, which was a commission for Big Boss 1233. This is the Nicole that I had to make using a different recipe than the first one. She's made mostly out of some Blaze parts, although she did use leftover Wave hands, Tails' head, and big old feet that I made from scratch. Amazing that despite the fact that the recipe is so different from the first one, which used Wave's torso and other characters' parts, it still looks pretty good and just about on model. It's good to see there's more than one way to make a figure. The next one was the first Sally that I had made this year. It was the, last year in 2016. It was made for Sad AM Fan FF, one of my Patreon supporters, as was Riku Studios. This was the one that used the Freedom Leader classic Sally head. So, of course, it is Sally in her more classic appearance. I can see why a lot of people like this design, although I am still slightly more partial to the Sally design from the comic book, pre-Super Genesis wave. So speaking of the Super Genesis wave, Antoine! Specifically, Super Genesis wave Antoine. He made it to the honorable mention list. It's a shame that the couple got broken up because Bunny actually got enough votes to go ahead to the top 10 rankings, so she's going to be in the next video. Will she actually make it to the top 10? Because there were 18 people that made it to that second poll, so it might not necessarily be her in one of the top 10. I'm really happy that after the Super Genesis wave, these characters were still married. If they had been broken up by the reboot, then it seriously might have made me stop reading the comic. Now we have my personal projects, starting with Crystal, the Star Fox Adventure Crystal. I really like this look that she had in the Star Fox Adventure game. It may be a bit cheesecake, but, there's just something about the Princess Leia style space bikini that just everybody loves. And with the tragic premature death of Carrie Fisher right at the end of 2016, it's kind of bittersweet to see this costume design again, but it's nice to know that that part of her will never be forgotten. On a lighter note, here's Atomic Robo, from one of my favorite comics. It was pretty cool modifying the Baymax figure to make this guy, and I actually entered him in one of the Figurone contests, where he, along with Aya, actually got me closest to winning one of those contests ever. In fact, I recall it was either him or Aya that, although they were 5th and 6th place, I think one of them actually got more votes than any other figure in that contest, so I can at least take the most voted on consolation prize. Then we had the Nautica custom. This was a Shapeways kit that I purchased, made by Glog, a fellow DeviantArt user. And the hardest part was dismantling that Starscream figure, because quite a lot of it was held together with pins, and then having to put it all back together with Nautica without a clear instruction sheet, mind you. I had to work based off of screen caps and logic. So yeah, it's a Shapeways kit, so it's not really completely my work, but I did go through the effort of dismantling, reassembling, and then painting the figure, so, it still counts as a custom. Ristar! Another figure that I made for a Figure Realm contest. It was Sega Does What Nintendo Don't. They wanted everybody in the realm to make custom figures of characters from Sega and Nintendo games. And I think there was exactly one person, possibly two, that actually made Nintendo-related customs. Almost everybody who participated in that contest made something from Sega. Although there was a lot of Streets of Rage and other stuff like that, I was the only one that came up with a Ristar when I got the idea. So yeah, basically a big ball with arms and legs sticking out of it and a star-shaped face. It's kind of like Space Pac-Man in that way. And finally, we have T-Bone and Razor, the only ones that I stuck in the original poll as a pair. Because, come on, like, am I really gonna separate these two? If I separated them, then SWAT Kats fans would have just been divided and being like, I don't know who to vote for. Why can I only pick one? So I figured I'd spare all those poor people the headache and just put T-Bone and Razor as one unit. Unfortunately, they only got the one vote, so that's as far as they got. So remember to vote in the contest, guys. Because remember, there are many thousands of you, and so far less than 75 votes. Those numbers don't add up, guys. So prove that you're an active watcher, follow the link to the poll, and vote.